From an on-screen rivalry written into the comics to them not liking each other in real life, it looks like Dwayne Johnson doesn't like Shazam. The Black Adam actor has nothing good to say about the series. After years of being stuck in production hell, this long-awaited anti-hero has finally made his debut in the DCU. He finally persuaded the people in charge at Warner Brothers to let both characters' origin stories be told separately before a fight between them, which was supposed to happen in Shazam. Even though he decided not to play Shazam's main enemy in Zachary Levi's DCU movie, there were a lot of hints about the character's role in the mythology.
Have a good first day, big brother.
Look, you don't have to hug me all the time. We're not actually brother and sister, so...
I'm sorry.
Instead of battling the king, instead of saving Kahndaq, Harut chose to save.
In Black Adam, we learned how the main character went from being a slave to becoming the champion of Kahndaq and playing a major role in the DCU. Even though his movie was about the legend of Shazam, there was no setup for a fight with Billy Batson. In future projects, James Gunn and Peter Safran's DC Studios may start to set up this fight, but it doesn't seem to be happening anytime soon, which is probably why Johnson isn't the biggest fan of DC's co-CEO, because the star has a thinly veiled hatred for Levi's Shazam movies. Safran made both Shazam and Shazam Fury of the Gods before he got the job at DC Studios with Gunn. The producer's job is to put all of the creative parts together, which obviously won't be an easy thing to do. He has to win over the other filmmakers too. The Rock has made it crystal clear that he doesn't like the series and isn't likely to be happy that his boss is now producing the movie.
Okay.
What are you doing?
I think Safran will do well, but it won't be easy because of how hard things are right now. So, with all of that said, there's one very important question that's been on my mind, and I'm sure it's been on yours too. Where does the big fight come in? Yep, I'm talking about Black Adam versus Shazam. Since DC Studios will have the final say on the direction of the DCU's movies and TV shows as of November 2022, it's up to them to decide if they want to look into a possible conflict between the two heroes. If The Rock dislikes the franchise, it's most likely due to his feelings about the director and the plot.
I got it.
Well, now my superpowers are failing me, and I am very confused.
Yeah.
Comic book lovers know that Teth Adam and Shazam will eventually meet in the DCU, and it would set up a pretty epic battle. Fans, on the other hand, are baffled as to why it isn't happening, since Johnson and Levi have also never disagreed in public. After more than a decade, Zack Snyder's DC Cinematic Universe is coming to an end. With James Gunn and Peter Safran in charge, a new age has begun. If this is the end of the DCEU, it's the best ending that could happen. Most fans were happy with how Black Adam turned out after Johnson worked on it for 15 years. He had big plans for the project and wanted to change the way things worked in DC, but not many people liked his plan as much as he did. The guy had big ideas about who Black Adam was and where he was going, but his biggest enemy, Shazam, never came up. In the comics, the two have been feuding since 1945, so it seems super inevitable that the two characters would meet on screen. So why did Johnson keep his character out of Shazam? And why wasn't his red-clad enemy shown in the movie at all? Why does The Rock hate this so much?
Hey, look, I'm late for work already, all right? We don't need any magazines or whatever.
Oh, I'm not. You probably don't recognize me, but...
Let me be clear. There is no hard evidence that Johnson dislikes Shazam. The actor has always known what his fans want, and he knows that changing the original content of comics is one of their biggest pet peeves. The facts, on the other hand, don't look good for him. The Rock was reportedly turned down for a cameo in Shazam: Fury of the Gods, and during the long process of making Black Adam, he wanted as much distance as possible between his character and Zachary Levi's. It could have been a deliberate artistic choice on Johnson's part, since he pushed for solo movies about the important DC characters. Black Adam might have just been a test run for this idea, but when word got out about his vision, doubts about his connection to Shazam grew. Johnson had Henry Cavill come in for a short cameo as Superman. That set him up as his next big villain.
He is all good, and he cannot be all powerful. And neither can you be. They need to see the fraud you are with their eyes.
There was never a plan for Adam and Billy Batson to fight it out. It is said that Johnson doesn't like Peter Safran's Shazam movies or the franchise they're a part of, but that's just a crazy rumor. Johnson said that his character might meet Shazam in the future, but that wouldn't happen until both of their stories develop further. No one knows how serious he was about the idea, but he seemed pretty set on Adam fighting the public face of DC Comics. Maybe he didn't like the difference between how serious his movies were and how funny Levi's were. Still, it's not unheard of for characters from movies with very different moods to work well together in another movie. So what does this mean for The Rock's future in the DCU? Black Adam has changed the balance of power in the DC universe, but not in the way Johnson had hoped. Warner Brothers thought it was time for a change after a few years of disappointing movies. With the change in leadership, Johnson's character was left behind in a world that doesn't exist anymore. He's decided that he doesn't want to be in any more DC movies, because he doesn't want to work for one of the people who made the villain his character fights. In a detailed explanation of why he was leaving, however, he promised that he and Seven Bucks Studios would keep looking for new adventures for Black Adam and his family.
The amount of takes that we ruined because I was just trying to make her laugh, and just completely ruined. And it's obvious. So
Gunn just told us what's coming up at DC Studios, and it's not what fans were expecting. Even though DC has started a whole new universe, a few of the previous characters will be back in their movies, and some other new characters from different DC timelines. Who can say that people won't want to see The Rock's character again? But the ball is in his court now. Gunn and Safran have the difficult task of getting everyone working on the DCU series to agree on a creative direction. Since Johnson is willing to go against what most people think, fans may be in for a long fight. He's already talked about putting Black Adam and Shazam together, so rumors that he doesn't like Shazam aren't a good sign of problems in the DCU anytime soon.
When I was a child, the old man told me I wasn't good enough. Yet here you are, a coward. Run from me.
Even though he doesn't like how the character first appears, he respects the original story. This is why he thinks that both characters should be introduced separately before they're put together. He had said before that the two were just put together because they were both connected, so he told them to honor their stories separately before they merged them. Black Adam deserves to have his movie that shows how he became the person he is, and before they face off, both the characters need to be stronger, mentally and physically. In the future, it looks like the DCU will follow Marvel's example and give fans a teaser before giving them what they want. After the fast pace of Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, and Justice League, a more drawn-out plot seems to be in the works. One that will put Superman, Black Adam, and Shazam back at the center of the series. That's all I have on how Dwayne Johnson feels about Shazam.
I got it.
Well, now my superpowers are failing me, and I am very confused.